The bridge over the Mississippi River at Chester, Illinois is closed. Gammy and I were supposed to go swimming with our granddaughters at some Clearwater Creek in Missouri today. But when we got in touch with our daughter, she said that the bridge at Chester was closed. So it would make an hour trip into a 2.5-hour trip. So we decided not to go, or I guess I decided not to go. And we instead went down to Chester. Well, first we went to Prairie du Rocher, and we walked up on the levee. The lock on the levee was closed, but it was leaking. So we walked up on the levee and we looked down in there, and the water on the back side of the levee was about 6 feet deep. And I could tell that because of how high it was on the road signs. Anyway, from there we were going to go to the Costello Lock and Dam. And we got down the road, and there was water across the road, so we had to back up, probably about a half a mile, and turn around in somebody's yard. And then we went on down to Chester. Here's some scenes at the Chester Bridge. You'll notice right down here, there's a little white PVC pipe sticking out of the water. That, I believe, is a pump house, and it's completely inundated. It ain't supposed to be like that. And from there we went to the courthouse in Chester, and here's some footage of that. We went from there to Fort Kaskaskia, and Fort Kaskaskia, well, Lewis and Clark were there. They took this portion of Illinois away from the British back in 1778. But right down there is Beaver Island, and according to the placards we were reading, that used to be the state capital of Illinois. Well, everything down there is underwater, so you know it wasn't a good place for them to put a state capital anyway. But if you look, all the water behind the island, all that's in the background should not be there. I checked, what is it, water.weather.gov, and they said that we were at 44 feet. They're predicting a crest of 46 feet. The last time it was this high was, just a couple of years ago. But before that, the highest it's ever been is 49.7 feet, and that was in, when was it? 93. So this will be the second highest recorded flood stage that they've ever had on this section of Mississippi. It's predicted to go down after a Thursday. I think that's when it's supposed to crest. But I don't know. You know, as long as there's no more rain in the Midwest, I guess we'll be okay. It does not affect me personally. I cross the Mississippi every day. I work in St. Louis County most of the time. St. Louis City, some of the places like, where do I work? Soulard, and I work in Clayton, and Chesterfield, Ellisville. I work all over the county. But anyway, I see the river every day, and I know that it's up. There's a floodplain that I'll look at every day, and some days, up until about a week ago, you could tell that the water was running out. There was kind of a little waterfall going out, and it had gotten to the point where there was no water running out. It was just, I guess, evaporating. But When I came by there, Wednesday or Thursday this past week, it was up again. And the floodplain on the other side of the highway is very high. When the water starts going down, the eagles will move in and they'll start fishing that, and it's kind of cool. But I was talking to my dad and my brother recently about this, and you think that famine, okay, I mean that's kind of harsh, but you think that famines start because of droughts. Well, they may very well, but they also start because of too much water. I mean, the farmers can't get in to plant, and if they do have something planted, they can't get in there to get it out. And I heard on the news a couple of months ago that in the Midwest, they figured they had lost something like a million calves, which means that not this year, but next, beef prices are going to be extremely high. I read a couple of days ago that the Chinese were having problems with a African swine flu. So they've had to kill huge amounts of hogs. So that means our prices on bacon is going to be high. I mean, bacon, that's the fourth food group. My wife would argue, she would say it was chocolate and then bacon, but anyway, if things don't change, my thinking is this: if the world does not change their wicked ways, this will be a judgment, or at least a calling saying, hey, y'all, this is what you're doing, you need to straighten up. I hope it doesn't get much worse, but I think it's going to. There's a lot more I could talk about, but I think this has run long enough for today. Thanks for listening. If you like what I say, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Y'all have a good week and God bless.